Welcome MNPS families. Thank you for joining us today as we discuss supporting behavior virtually. We know this is a busy time for all of us, and we appreciate you making time for this session. My name is Derek Williams, and I am the Passage Coordinator for MNPS. Passage stands for Positive and Safe Schools Advancing Greater Equity. In my role, I work closely with community organizations as well as multiple departments within MNPS to address discipline disparities. So today, we will be talking about how to access some of the supporting behavior documents online, as well as tips that you can use at home while supporting your scholar in the virtual learning environment. Let's jump in. So what do you need to know first? First, you need to know how to access these documents. So your first step is to use your web browser and type in www.mnps.org. Next, you will select Virtual Learning Parent Playbook, and then finally, you would choose the behavior support option. Let's take a look at that to see what it looks like. By going to www.mnps.org, you will come to the home page. In the top left corner, you will see Virtual Learning Parent Playbook. Click on that link and a drop-down menu will appear. In that drop-down menu, you will see Behavior Support. Click on that link. Clicking on that link will take you to the Virtual Learning Parent Playbook page. And the first thing you'll see is Virtual Behavior Supports. This area will give a brief description of what MNPS believes in our aims and goals for students as they navigate the learning environment in the virtual space for behavior. MNPS has worked closely with the Social Emotional Learning Department to make sure that there's tips and strategies that will be utilized on a daily basis in the instructional delivery. We've also made sure that restorative practice is a large part of what it will be used to address behavior in the virtual learning environment. You'll also see on this page Student Parent Handbook, which many of you will probably already be familiar with. In this, you will see items like the opt-out forms, our discipline matrix, as well as our core beliefs regarding discipline. Next, you'll see virtual dress expectations. We want all students to come to that virtual learning space prepared to learn, dressed appropriately, as to not be a distraction to others as they engage in their learning on a day-to-day basis. Restorative steps in the virtual learning environment. These restorative steps are reactive steps that teachers, deans, assistant principals, and executive principals, in some cases, what they'll be using to address behavior concerns if they ever encounter it. Finally, on this page, you will see discipline codes. These discipline codes have a list of behaviors that we might see on a day-to-day basis in the virtual learning space. If any of these behaviors were to occur, the far right column are the response options. These are the reactive steps that we just looked at above and what administrators as well as teachers will be utilizing to address behaviors. Next, let's talk about some tips that teachers can use and will be using, as well as yourself, some things that you can do with your youth at home. So what can you do as a parent? One, have some conversations with your scholars about the following. Being polite and respectful to others in the online learning space. We want to make sure that the virtual learning space is just as pleasant for our students online as well as it is in the in-person learning space. Everyone deserves a right to a safe and respectful learning environment. Next, following the agreed upon rules of the class. Teachers work closely with students to develop rules that they all can abide by. So we want to make sure that you're encouraging your learner, your scholar, to follow the agreed upon rules. Next, thinking about the consequences of what they post. Have a conversation. Let your students know or your scholar know that whatever you post in an online environment will stay there and it can follow you. So make sure that what you're posting is appropriate. Next, dressing appropriately for virtual interactions, making sure that what you're wearing or what they're wearing is not a distraction to others. And finally, let them know that you will be supporting them by checking to see how they're doing on a day-to-day as they work to learn and do the work that has been given to them. Knowing that really encourages them to give their all and give their best as they approach the learning space. Finally, we hope this session has been helpful to you and your family. If you have any further questions, we'd love to talk with you and work together to support your family and your child. Please email us at familysupport@mnps.org. Give us a brief explanation of your need and the best way for us to contact you. We're happy to text, call, or email back. Thank you for allowing us to join you in supporting your child and family.